It's never too late. Mira D'Souza was 70 years old. She lived in a peaceful town, in a little white house with a blue door. Each morning she made a cup of cardamom tea and sat by her window in a wicker chair. The birds chirped, the sky turned golden, and the world slowly came alive. But inside Mira's heart, something felt missing. She had retired from her work as a school librarian 7 years ago. Her days passed quietly, reading the newspaper, trimming her garden, and occasionally watching old films. Her husband had passed on, and her children were scattered across different cities, living their own busy lives. The silence in her home had grown louder with time. One afternoon, while clearing out an old trunk, Meera came across a weathered leather journal. The corners were curled, and it smelled like dusty memories. She opened it, and on the very first page, written in her neat, youthful script, were the words, "My dream list. Travel to Italy and eat real pasta under the stars. Write a children's book. Learn to play the piano." She held the journal close. Her eyes welled up. "I wrote this when I was 27, she whispered, remembering her younger self, full of hope and imagination. But life had quickly filled up with duties, deadlines, and detours. She kept saying, "One day, someday." And just like that, over 4 decades had passed. Now her legs ached if she stood too long. Her doctor had advised against overseas travel. Her fingers trembled when she tried to hold a pen for more than a few minutes. As for learning piano, her hearing wasn't as sharp anymore. Meera closed the journal. A tear slid down her cheek. "I waited too long," she murmured. That evening, instead of staying home, she walked to the nearby garden. She watched children run after butterflies, their laughter bouncing in the air. She sat beside a young boy sketching dinosaurs in his notebook. "What are you drawing?" she asked gently. He grinned. "A story. I want to write books about dinosaurs when I grow up." Meera smiled. "I once wanted to write a book too." "Why didn't you?" the boy asked curiously. She paused. "I thought I had plenty of time, but time doesn't wait." He tilted his head and said, "You can still write, Auntie. You're telling me a story right now." That night, Meera couldn't sleep. The boy's words echoed in her heart. The next morning, she picked up a fresh notebook. On the first page, she wrote, "New dream list. Write short stories for children, read books about Italy and dream vividly. Teach piano basics to kids even if I can't play well." She smiled. "Maybe I won't eat pasta in Rome," she thought, "but I can taste it in a story. Maybe I can't play piano, but I can still pass on the joy of music." She began writing simple, heartfelt tales of school days, kindness, and adventure. Every evening she visited the park and read her stories to the children who eagerly gathered around her. They clapped, laughed, and begged her for just one more. One day, a schoolteacher who had overheard her invited Meera to share her stories with the class. Her eyes sparkled. "I'd love to." Soon, her stories were printed in the school's monthly newsletter. Then, a local publisher created a small book of her tales. Her dream was blooming, not exactly as she had once imagined, but in a way that felt just right. Meera looked back at her old dream list, but this time there were no tears, only peace. She had learned something precious. You don't need the perfect moment to begin. You just need courage to begin at all. Because life will not wait, and dreams don't fade, they simply wait for you to return to them. So don't wait for one day, start today. Live while you can. Because dreams aren't just for the young, they're for the brave. Vocabulary words from the story. Journal. Meaning, a personal notebook where someone writes thoughts, memories, or plans. Example, Meera found her old journal filled with dreams she once had. Whispered meaning, to speak very softly, often with emotion or secrecy. Example, I wrote this when I was 27, she whispered, holding back tears. Regret, meaning, a feeling of sadness about something that was missed or not done. Example, Meera felt a deep regret for waiting so long to chase her dreams. Blooming meaning growing or developing beautifully, often used for flowers or dreams coming true. Example: her dream was finally blooming through the stories she shared with children. Courage. Meaning the strength to do something even when it's difficult or scary. Example: she realized all she needed was the courage to begin. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.